the 60-game mark of the season. What stands out to you about maybe what you've put together to this point of the season that you've earned every night, that you really want to make sure you're earning every night once again?
I mean, same stuff, not just this season, just high professionalism by the team, great job attacking the program throughout the course of the season, all the invisible work that goes into the year, obviously competing together out there on the court most nights, and so the team's done a great job and created a great baseline, and we just got to keep flexing that muscle, in every opportunity we have.
When you all do some of your more big picture check-ins every 10, 15 games, whatever it is there anything maybe specific or unique to this stage of the season when you've got about a quarter of the year still to go, but you have so much body of work in terms of what you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, as you gain more data points, you can get a little bit more firm on your takeaways, as the sample size grows on different things, and so your confidence in not even an opinion, your confidence in a takeaway about the team grows as the sample grows. So, we're learning our team. We think we know our team pretty well at this point. There's still a quarter of the season left and plenty of opportunity to continue to do that, and we have to take advantage of every opportunity. We want to be the best team we can be by the end of the season every year, and that's our challenge as we come through the next quarter of the season here.
Which was really impactful yesterday and helping you get the win. Is there anything that you would touch on about the process to get to those results?
Anytime, I said in the locker room after the game that I was really impressed with that, because he didn't play out of All-Star break for the most part, and he's doing all the invisible stuff, high intensity work, harder individual stuff on the court. He didn't know he was playing until he got to the arena last night. So just the readiness, you can't fake that. That's the work, and he did the work to keep himself ready. That showed up when the lights turned on last night. He should be incredibly proud of not just. I mean, he's played that well before, but he should be proud of the readiness, the mental toughness. He's grown that muscle over time to the point where we trust that at this point. To have him in there to start the fourth quarter of a close game on the road that was obviously highly contested, and he gives a huge lift last night.
Mark, in 6 games since the break, you guys are first in offense, 22nd in defense. Is that, with the defense in particular, is that just noisy numbers of being on the wrong side of outlier shooting nights, or with the higher scoring games we've seen from you guys, is there anything to sort of that's behind that as far as trends?
Yeah, I think it's always both. So they're shooting the ball well. I mean, last night we evaluate shot quality for us and our opponents. The majority of the threes they took last night were what we would consider threes that we're okay with, and they were scorching on those shots last night. So that's always part of it. And then there's always controllables, and it's not one thing. We've studied it. The turnovers are still very good, but a little bit down. We're fouling more. The free throw attempts for our opponents are up. The rebounding is a little bit down, and we're giving up 4 more points total in transition and at the rim combined. So it's like death by paper cut there, plus a little bit of shooting variance. It's always Bliss actually was talking to the team at halftime. He had the scout yesterday, and he said a really good thing that struck me. He said, we can't overreact to the way they're shooting, but we do have to react, and that's, I think, a good way to frame it. You can't overreact to teams shooting the ball well against you, but if they're playing well and they're in rhythm, you don't just want to chalk it up to variance. You got to go out there and amp it up, and I thought we did that in the second half.
Just big picture-wise, you guys are still the number 1 defense by a sizable margin on the year. As it gets later in the year and you guys have a huge lead atop the West, what do you have to do to keep the guys almost engaged on that end? Because it seems like it'd be human nature for there to be a little bit of slippage.
That's the challenge, is you get to transcend human nature. The good news is this team has made a habit of transcending human nature over time. I mean, they take pride in that competitively. I think the connection of the team helps with that, because there's a contagion to that. Maybe if tonight one individual guy is drifting a little bit, the guy next to him is bringing it, and that can be contagious. And the fact that they're so connected and so competitive, I think, helps us. but that's our challenge. You know, as you are in the dog days of the season and as the schedule stacks up. I mean, this is our 7th game since break, I think. In 6 cities, Oklahoma City being one of them. I mean, we've had a very condensed schedule with a lot of travel, so there's a attrition element to it too. But no one cares. You know, we gotta keep going.
You mentioned the turnovers have been down a little bit more recently, but you guys have won the turnover battle 51 times this year. A lot of the talk about turnovers has been what you guys force because you lead the league in forcing turnovers, but you guys also give up the least amount of turnovers. So just on the other side of that, what goes into being a low turnover team?
I mean, a lot of it is like the profile of your main creators. I mean, the ball is not distributed to your team equally. You know, like Shea has the ball more than other players on the team. Dub has the ball more, and those guys tend to be low turnover players. I think it's a very, it's an interesting thing. I think as it relates to like analytics and efficiency. Everybody is very keen on shot quality, shot location. You know, more threes, all this stuff. But a turnover is about as inefficient as you can get, you know, for your offense. If you shot 10, if you had 10 possessions and you shot 40% expected shots from 3, you could expect 1.2 points per possession over that sample, right? 10 possessions, 40% from 3. If you throw a turnover in there, it goes down to 1.08, I believe. Check my math on that. But just if you have 9 possessions of 40% shooting with 1 turnover, just 1, you add that 0 in there. It's like when you don't do your homework and you get a 0 on it. You know, it lowers your grade significantly. And 1.20 is one of the best offenses in the league, and 1.08 is one of the worst. And that's the difference. And so I think it's an overlooked thing. We don't talk about it a ton. We talk more about our fundamentals and our execution, but it's definitely helpful when you don't turn it over very much.
Anybody else?
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Mark.